Okay, my friends, here it is. The much requested video that is going to show you exactly how to brew aerated compost tea for a larger garden. So, I'm going to say some things about it and then I'm going to take you downstairs and show you exactly how to make this device. Because if you do this properly, the aerated compost tea is all that you will need for the entire gardening season. So, this technique I'm going to show you, don't be intimidated by it. It's actually very simple, and once you learn it, you're going to probably come up with all different kinds of ways to use it. So I'm going to take you downstairs and show you how to make this device, and then I'm going to show you how to brew the tea with it, including the exact recipe that I use. And then when we come back, I'm going to tell you how often we should use it and how long it can store for. Okay, my friends, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing compost tea brewer. Now, the first thing you're going to need is a 1/2-inch female thread connection. Then we are going to get a 1/2-inch male adapter. Make sure it has the threads. Then we're going to get a 1/2-inch female threaded cap to go on the male adapter. Then, this is very important, we're going to get a 1/2-inch to 3/8-inch hose barb. Do you see how it's a barb on the one end? Then we're going to get 3/8-inch interior dimension tubing. You only need about 2 feet. Then we're going to get a 10-foot section of 1/2-inch PVC, the thin-walled stuff. Guys, look, the thin-walled stuff is what we want for this. Then we're going to get the 1-part PVC cement. You don't need the 2 parts. The next step is we're going to take the 10-foot section of thin-walled PVC and we're going to start to heat it. And do you see I put the cap on the end of it just to help retain the shape? We put the threaded male cap on the end of it to help retain the shape. Now, we are going to slowly move this heat gun back and forth. Do you see? This is in real time. It's not sped up or slowed down. And you're just going to heat this stuff, guys. It's going to start to become super pliable. If you haven't done this before, it's going to be really cool or really fun because it's going to start to melt a little bit. But make sure you don't keep that heat gun in the same spot too long. You just want to keep it moving. Keep it moving. That way you don't see any brown scorch marks or anything. And then we're just going to wrap it around the bucket like this 5-gallon bucket. We're going to wrap it around the bucket. We're going to let it cool on that bucket for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it's going to retain its shape just like this. See, there's no kinks in it. That's very important. Then we're going to cut 3 feet off of the end of the pipe. And then we're going to, now here is the real sensitive part, guys. You want to make sure you heat enough of the section. Don't just heat a tiny little part because we're going to put a 90-degree bend in this. So get it nice and warm like this. It's very easy. It's very simple. It's actually not difficult at all. You see how I'm going nice and slow. Keep the heat gun moving. And we're bending this. Now, we're going to bend this. Make sure you don't get any kinks in it. And you want it to be above center. Do you see how it's coming back towards us? The end result needs to be, the top of it needs to be over the center of the circle like that. Do you see how it's coming back? It's not going straight up. It's at an angle. You'll see why later. And then we are going to put on the 1/2-inch female thread connection, and that's to help it retain its shape. So then we're going to take the heat gun and we're going to heat up a nice section of this, and we're going to bend the top of it back towards us, making sure we do not have any kinks. If you have a kink, release the pressure and heat more of it. And we want it to come back towards us at about a 45-degree angle. And then we can take a wet towel and cool it off, and that will set it really quickly. Now, next thing, we're going to take a drill bit. 3/32 or 7/64 size are both adequate. And we're going to drill about 6 to 7 holes, about every 4 or 5 inches apart. We're going to make sure we only go through the top layer, though. We are not going through the bottom of the pipe, just the top. Very important to note that. Then we're going to take some PVC cement and we're going to secure the connectors that we previously just had resting on there. So we're going to put a little PVC cement on it and then we're going to set it nice and tight. And then we're going to wipe off some of the excess. Don't be getting this stuff all over the place. Just a little tiny bit is all that is needed. Then we're going to put in the threaded cap on the bottom as well like this, and that goes on the bottom. And that's so that we can clean it out. If we ever need to clean it out, we can unscrew the cap and clean it out. Then we want to take the barb and we're going to put it up top. Do you see what we're doing here? How we're going to connect the hose to that? Now we're going to take a 2-foot section of the hose tubing and we're going to attach it to the top. And this brewer is going to be ready now. Once the brewer is ready, we are going to use some high quality compost, guys. The higher quality, the better. Now here is the recipe, okay? I explained a lot in my previous video when I did the 5 gallons, but it's the same process except we're going to use a pillowcase. And you want to make sure that you dilute that molasses with some hot water so that it's nice and soluble. Then we're going to take some string and tie it to the top of the brewer like this. And then the weight of the bag is going to hold down the brewer because it's going to want to float if you didn't have the bag weighting it down. This is the key, guys. This is what makes it really successful. Then we're going to connect that end of the hose to the beefed up air pump, which I put a link in the description of the video to the exact air pump. So here we have the setup. It is suspended like this in the barrel right over the bubbles. So when we kick it on, we're going to get all kinds of crazy bubbles. And then we're going to gently massage the bag. Now we massaged this one pretty vigorously. The paint strainer we didn't have to massage, but this one we like to massage to get that stuff out of there. Make sure them bubbles are going nice and vigorously like this. Then we're going to put in our food source, and this is 2 cups of blackstrap molasses that has been diluted with another 2 cups of boiling water so that it doesn't just glob up at the bottom of the barrel. Then we're going to add about a 1 cup of fish fertilizer, homemade fish fertilizer of choice. That's going to be really good food for the fungi. And then we're going to let it brew, guys. And here we are about 18 hours later, give or take. We got our pump covered. We see the microbial activity here. It's 14 to 18 hours, something like that. And everything is going really well. We can see that we're starting to get some slime over the bag, and this is a good sign. This is the activity of the microorganisms. So here we are about 36 hours later. The bag is all slimed up, and the brew smells like freshly baked bread, and that's the key. It should smell fresh and inviting, like fresh compost. At no point should this smell rancid. Now, we are going to take the 5-gallon bucket and we're going to dilute it with 130 gallons of rainwater. We are going to put in 20 gallons of this. So it's going to be roughly 1 to 4, 1 to 5, something like that. Get you one of these, guys, so you can measure exactly how much you're using. Now, we are going to put more of the stuff in it. So we're going to add a 1 cup of calcium acetate, 1 cup fish fertilizer, and 2 cup labs. Now this is going to be a recipe to encourage very robust leafy growth earlier in the season because we got that fish fertilizer in there and the calcium to make the leaves nice and thick. And this is what we want, guys. So we've got this. This is a pretty stout solution here, and we're just going to spray it literally over everything. We're going to take our submersible pump, which there's a link in the description to this pump, and we are just going to put it all over everything. The plants love this, so long as you do not apply it in the direct sun. It needs to be in the evening or on a very cloudy day. This bed of arugula, these green onions, everything is going to get a shower, including these sad looking sweet potato slips, but they're just going through their transition period because sweet potatoes will sit there like they're doing nothing and then all of a sudden they will explode. You will see. But they love some of this aerated compost tea. Also, a bed that you have not used yet, apply this before planting to kickstart the microbial life. Now here we are going to soak the young little pepper plants so that in just a couple months, guys, they are going to look exactly like they did last year. And they're going to be thriving. Look at these poblanos, guys. This is September of last year. They are ready to be harvested. So much good produce in the garden. We're going to harvest these poblanos that are super healthy, and then we're going to smoke them. Look at this, guys. Watch my video on homemade smoked paprika. These things are bursting with flavor, and the whole entire garden is bursting with flavor, and it all starts from using the right stuff, getting that life and the biology happening in the soil. Nourish the life in the soil, and it will nourish you. Okay, so that's how you brew it. Now, this aerated compost tea does not hit the same type of peak that the J-Dom microbial solution does. So it's a little bit more forgiving. So you can brew it anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, and it will be perfectly fine and usable. If it's on the cooler side, between the water temperatures between 50 and 70 Fahrenheit, then 48 hours. If it's above 70 Fahrenheit, then 24 hours. That's a general rule of thumb. Now, once the air stone stops, then you must use it all within 2 to 3 hours. There's no other shelf life. You can't store it. You have to use it like you just saw in the video. Now, we want to apply this Ideally, once a week during the growing season. You can apply it every day if you wanted to, but there's no need for that and you risk kind of imbalancing things. So once a week during the growing season, make it your ritual. Start it on Saturday morning before the Garden Like a Viking live stream, and then use it Sunday evening after the sun goes down. That's the ideal method. So I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share the video with anyone that needs the knowledge. Check out the links in the description, and I will see you right here at 12 noon Eastern time for the live Q&A every Saturday. And if you need to make aerated compost tea on a smaller batch, I'll direct you to this video here because it will show you how to make it in the 5-gallon bucket, including the recipe.